Welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about conditional probability. Conditional probability is the probability that an event B will occur given that another event, event A, already has occurred. So if you need to pause the video and write that definition down, do it now. The formula for finding a conditional probability looks like this. The probability of B given A is equal to the probability of A and B happening divided by the probability of A. So that's an important formula for us to have in our notes, and maybe tomorrow we'll come back and highlight that. There are two ways of finding a conditional probability, and that is through the use of a contingency table or a tree diagram. So let's start with the contingency table. With the contingency table, we have some information organized into columns and rows. So as you can see here in this contingency table, we've got municipal waste collected in millions of tons, 5 different materials: paper, metal, glass, plastic, and other. Some of it's recycled, some of it is not. So let's read the question. Americans recycle increasing amounts of waste through municipal waste collection. The table shows collection data for 2007. What is the probability that a sample of recycled waste is paper? Okay, so technically what we have here is that our paper is recycled. So we're going to think of this as the probability of paper being recycled. So using our formula, we're going to have the probability of recycled paper, and then we'll divide that by the probability of just recycled materials altogether. Recycled. I missed a C there. Okay, so looking at the data, recycled paper makes up 45.2 millions of tons of materials collected each year, so that's going to be 45.2. Now, as far as recycling goes, I look at all of this information. If I add up all of those, it's 79.4 million tons. So then 79.4 goes on the bottom. I divide those two numbers. 0.57 is our probability that material that's being recycled is paper, or that paper is being a recycled material, I guess is the way I should have said that. Paper is being recycled. All right, so of course I would answer D. This is a multiple choice question. And then it really helps me to just kind of lay things out. Recycled waste is paper. Now let's take a look at a tree diagram. So with a tree diagram, the probability formula is just a little bit different. What we'll do is we'll find essentially the probability of A and I'm going to say A dash B. That maybe doesn't make a whole lot of sense right now, but let's read through this problem. So using this tree diagram, where this is all of the students in the junior class 10 years ago, we can branch off into two branches, the graduated branch and the did not branch. So that's what NG stands for, not graduate. Notice that 0.85 and 0.15 add up to 1.0, so that takes into account 100% of the members of that class. Now, of the students who graduated, some were happy and some were not. Again, notice that that adds up to 1, equating to 100% of the members of that branch. And then down here, 0.6 and 0.4 also adds up to 1, or 100%. All right, so let's dive in. What is the probability? What is the probability that someone graduated from high school and is a happy graduate? So I'm going to write it something like that. So first step, I go to the appropriate branch, the graduated branch, and that gives me 0.85. Then what I'll do is I'm going to multiply it by the next branch down the tree diagram. Since I'm looking for graduated and happy, I'm going to consider that number, 0.90. I multiply those two values together and I get 0.765, or I could say that there's a 76.5% chance that a graduate of high school is going to be happy at their job. So now if we take a look at another question pertaining to the same tree diagram, let's add this to our notes. What's the probability that a non-grad from the same class is happy with their job? So I'm going to leave some words out, but you get the gist of this question. We're talking about the same group of students that didn't graduate but are happy. So do you know what we're going to do this time? So this time we're going to start at the non-grad branch. So we're going to start with 0.15. And then we're going to keep going to the happy branch that branches off of that. And here's happy. I'm going to just underline this a few times so I'm not confusing what's going on. I don't know if that's confusing. Maybe it just really is confusing. Okay, so 0.15 times 0.60 on my calculator, surprisingly enough, it works out to be 0.09. So there's only a 9% chance that a person who doesn't graduate from high school will be happy with their job. I think the moral of the story is stay in high school and get a degree. All right, or a diploma. So that's all I have to say about that. If you need to go back and rewatch, remember, that's your privilege and prerogative. See you next time.